attitude is measurable. Attitude, like some people could say that that's a subjective thing, so you can't fire by it. I would say exactly the opposite, right? Attitude is extremely important. It's going to bring your whole team down if you have people with bad attitudes, and you should not be afraid as a manager to make a decision based on a subjective criteria. So anybody who has not heard this presentation before want to take a guess at this one? I'm here to tell you there's only one thing in the world that makes people mad. Maybe this is best illustrated through story. So I don't like to gamble with the company, really, but I do like to gamble in my personal life. I'll go to Las Vegas, right? I don't like to gamble with everybody's lives. I don't gamble with the business. But I do like to once in a while gamble, play some cards in my personal life. And if I went into a casino in Las Vegas and I got cheated by that casino, I'd probably be pissed. Right? Would you guys be pissed that the casino is dealing from the bottom of the deck or whatever they're not supposed to be doing? But if when I was walking on the street and down the street in Las Vegas and I was about to go into that casino and the sign outside says, "This is the world's dirtiest casino. Do not come in here unless you want to be cheated. We are going to take your money. You have no chance of winning." Well, if I saw that sign and then I went ahead in there and then I lost, I wouldn't be so mad. Super silly example, but like I would challenge you that anytime you've been mad about something, it's because you thought X was going to happen and Y happened. Whether it's a spouse, a partner, a business colleague, anybody. It's usually what makes people upset is when you've set an expectation or there's an expectation about your behavior and that expectation is not met. And that is really the only thing that makes people mad in life. So just a good lesson and a good thing to remember is it can be boiled down that simply. So don't make expectations that aren't going to be met. Like if you have an expectation about how it's going to be, that is it's a key thing to think about as a manager. The only thing that makes people mad in life is an unmet expectation. Some other tips as managers. So I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys. This happened to me when I was a young manager. So somebody's doing something wrong and you don't really address it with them because you think like time is going to solve the problem or they're going to get it. And you're not really going to, so let's use an easy example. Let's say everybody gets to work at 9 in your department and then somebody starts coming in at 10 after 9. And they're going to see that we all get here at 9 and they're going to fix it. And let me just tell you, that's not going to fix it. All right? So anything anybody is doing wrong, it always tends to expand. And not only that, what happens is if you don't do anything, then the person comes in at 9:30, then 10, and then you get upset with it, and then finally you explode, and the person is surprised. Well, you haven't said anything about it to me. So when you see a small problem in management, there is never a better time to deal with it. Just nip it in the bud. Just take care of the problem immediately. Say to the person, hey, I think of our department like. I'm dating myself with this example, but like Michael Jordan in basketball, if the game starts at 8, Michael Jordan doesn't get there at 8. He gets there at 7:30 or 7 o'clock, and he starts warming up. So if you need to adjust your time to get, what's that?
He gets there at 4.
Yeah, well, whatever. Whatever the case is, but it's such an easy conversation to have it right away, right? And when you let something go and you let deviant behavior, like you let something wrong go on, it becomes harder and harder to deal with. So my advice to you is deal with it right away. Nobody has mouse, they have mice. So what this one is it's the tip of the iceberg. So if you're a manager and you see something happen that's wrong, so you see someone write a client back with, rudely or inappropriately, and you see it happen, and you're not supposed to see it, but you happen to see it, right? You should think to yourself, two things immediately. One is, if I see something wrong that I wasn't supposed to see, it's happening 20 or 100 times behind my back, okay? And the other thing you should think is, I don't have good enough training or process to prevent this from happening, and that's why it's happening that much. So it's the tip of the iceberg analogy. If you see something you're not supposed to see as a manager going on that's incorrect, your immediate thought should be, this is going on a bunch of times, and I need to really look at my process and what I'm doing as a manager to make sure that this doesn't happen. I remember the first time I fired somebody. Who here is fired? Well, who here is a manager? Put your hands back up. And now leave them up if you've fired somebody. Okay. So there's a lot of you that haven't fired somebody. It's kind of a thing, right? It's a difficult thing to do for your first time. We used to take people out for a drink. It was a big ceremony when they actually did it for the first time. So Who here thinks it's bad to fire someone without an objective reason? You have to have an objective reason to fire somebody. Some people, okay, you have to have an objective reason. Who here thinks it's okay to fire if you have, or better to fire if you have a subjective reason? Like, okay, you can't have an excellent organization unless you fire people. So you should not think. And I'll tell you one way to think about this, which will make you feel better about it. I would much rather fire somebody for a subjective reason because they're bringing down the attitude of my team. And I can't really put that on a sheet. Like, I don't have any, they clocked in on time, they did this, I don't have anything objective. But I'm much better and would feel much like somebody that has a bunch of ability, but they're coming in and they're basically dragging the team down or having a poor attitude. Attitude is measurable. Attitude, like some people could say that that's a subjective thing, so you can't fire by it. I would say exactly the opposite. Right? Attitude is extremely important. It's going to bring your whole team down if you have people with bad attitudes, and you should not be afraid as a manager to make a decision based on a subjective criteria. Let me ask another question. Has anyone ever kept someone in a position because they were busy? They knew you wanted to fire them. You knew they weren't going to work, but you've kept them because you were busy. Right? Okay. Now, I want you to think about this in a different way. It's extremely unfair for you to do that. Like, this person is, you have an obligation to your own time. You're spending time with this person. It's not training them for the future, or there's nothing happening there because you're just busy. You're trading tomorrow. When you're doing this, you're trading tomorrow for today. And it's always a bad trade, right? Like, you have got, and I would even say you have a moral obligation to that person where you're just going to use them and then fire them when you're not so busy. Like, no, you need to let them go move on to a career where they can succeed. Maybe it's internally within TransPerfect, or maybe it's not. But if you know that somebody is not the right fit for the job, and you're just keeping them because you're shorthanded or you're busy, you're trading everybody's tomorrow, a better tomorrow, for a much better tomorrow for a little tiny easier today. And I would say take the pain today and make the decision today. And not only would I say this, you do it because it's the good thing for the company and for your own sanity and for your own time invested. It's also a good thing for that person, because to waste another 6 months of their career really isn't fair. Let them go get a job somewhere where they are going to succeed. Okay?